what power does a coach really have? Look at this Deion Sanders thing.
Man,
this is your guy, right? This is your dude.
I like Deion a lot, bro. But we'll play the clip first. Yeah, I think the issue with Deion is that Deion hasn't won enough to justify the behavior. So we're going to play clips here in a minute from this press conference. And, we've seen this behavior before out of other head coaches, political figures. This is not the first time we've seen somebody sitting at the podium, doing media availability and not really wanting to hear from, people asking questions. But the thing with Deion
this is a little... Do you think
different.
That's what this was?
Well, I think it's right up that alley. I think that I think let's play the clip first, because once you see the clip, if you live under a rock and you haven't seen it, this is Deion Sanders being a complete pain in the ass in the press conference.
Next guy. Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS, Tyler, I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, my
ain't got nothing to do with you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate you, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe Rigo, my last with you. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
CBS National ranked Deion Sanders maybe last or one of the
second to worst in the
second
conference.
To worst coach in the conference. So he did that. So how did the local TV station react? Deion had a press conference where not only did he go after CBS, not only did he refuse to have a conversation about his offensive line, he was asked if he had bolstered his offensive line, and he lost his shit over it. And he lost his mind over the word bolster. It was that press conference. And I don't know what happened over the last week and a half in Boulder, because Deion was, in my opinion, one of the stars of Big 12 Media Day.
Yeah.
I thought he handled it exceptionally well. And then you just fall apart to the point where the local media in Boulder and Denver now are off the train.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scotty Gange. Deion Sanders welcomed everybody back to football season today with a wild press conference. So let's talk about it.
When I talk about that, we talk about that, we can talk about that.
He called out some local sports writers today.
Why do you always on attack? Like, what did we do? Where am I? What?
And the head coach of the Colorado Buffs also had no time for TV stations either.
CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
Okay, I get it. It's one thing, right? When you have an issue with a person or an outlet, like he obviously does, like how CBS recently ranked Sanders as the second worst coach in the Big 12. So what? But he proceeded to bully people, asking honest questions all afternoon.
You've bolstered your offensive line here in this second season.
What does bolstered mean?
All right, you beefed up your offensive line in this offseason.
Beefed up.
How do you sort of microwave
improved
that chemistry?
Improved. How about improved? Let's say that. We've improved our offensive line.
The chemistry is such an important thing.
What is chemistry?
Deion has brought CU national attention. He served as an inspiring voice for many. But he's coming off just like he's trying to intimidate and push around anybody who dares to ask him a question. Now, that's not how a sports person of the year or anybody should be acting.
Throw the word chemistry out of the night. Everybody keep throwing that word out. Some of you don't even have chemistry at home, but you go there every day. That's the end of that question, I guess.
What are you doing?
Causing trouble. That's what you're doing.
I don't. There were always going to be growing pains with Prime at Colorado. He was always an awkward fit. I totally get that. This is something different. I don't know what's going on with him, but arguing over beefed up or improved and the importance of chemistry on an offensive line
is paramount.
Ask BYU last year.
Yeah.
You cannot. What are you doing, Deion?
Yeah, I mean,
what are you doing, dude?
Listen, the problem is that when Deion first arrived on the scene in Boulder. He was everyone's All-American. You remember, he sold the building out for the entire season, for all their home games. Like, everything was incredible. They get off to this hot start with the TCU win, the Nebraska game, and then obviously they fall on their face to end the season. And so they got a lot of hate. And I feel like, unfortunately, none of us were really surprised that they had a losing season as far as their record is concerned. But just the way it went, I felt like they ended on kind of a sour note. And then you have this situation where, you've got Big 12 Media Days. I agree. They absolutely nailed it. Shador nailed it. Deion nailed it. Like, everything was great. And yeah, I don't know what happened, but the guy is taking out his personal issues on the media, and that never ends well. Like, I firmly believe Deion Sanders makes a choice every day of how he's going to handle the media. Like, this is not someone who just rolls up into the press conference completely unprepared and just kind of does something random. He's choosing to be a pain in the ass.
An agenda.
Yeah.
He had an agenda. And for somebody that, he needs the media. That's the thing that was so surprising about it.
And I don't think, the other thing that Deion does, which was fine till this press conference happened, he was always the guy that said, hey, like, confident, like, he said something to the effect of, like, confident black man sitting up here is always going to have an issue with the media. They're always going to be talking about me and yada. And it's like, yeah, they're always going to be talking about you for sure. But if you're going to sit up here and basically give the local CBS reporter the bird and mock him and then fight this other guy, like, I just don't know what Deion thought he was going to get out of this.
Yeah.
And you're right. These guys are going to be here all season long, and it's either going to get worse or Deion's going to fix it. And I would be surprised if he didn't smooth that out a little bit. That would be...
I am guessing, having been in these situations, this is not my first rodeo, having seen coaches go after media members like this, I am guessing they've already talked offline, Deion and this reporter, because he straight up said, I've got love for you. I just think this is an odd way to start your season in what is arguably the most important season of his college football coaching career.
Yeah.
Because you got to go to a bowl game this year. And it's going to be very difficult because the Nebraska game's in Lincoln, not in Boulder. And I think there are no more surprises. They're better. There's no doubt they're better. And the sad thing is, Deion's actually a really good coach. He's a good football coach. Hired an excellent staff.
Yeah.
Recruits at a very high level. And I think that this is going to make his job more difficult. It's as simple as that. Oak State James, this guy's an egomaniac. He's not the savior of Colorado football. I would call him the savior of Colorado football. He put Colorado football back on the map. Nobody gave a rat's ass about Colorado football before he got there.
Yeah.
The president of Colorado needs to discipline him. You represent CU, be a man and answer the question.
Okay, so hold on. Let me just point out the obvious that you've absolutely lined up on a tee for me to serve you with. How are you saying this about Deion Sanders, but you didn't say it about Mike Gundy? How does that work? Mike Gundy's out here talking about being first team all DUI.
Does Mike Gundy treat the media better than Deion does?
Like, are you kidding me?
Isn't Mike Gundy known for melting down on the media? Isn't that where he made his name?
Facts straight.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm a man. And kick a person when he's down.
Anyway, I disagree with you. Maybe you're right. Maybe you should be fired.
I just think that's that we can't have. You can't be, hey, well, Mike just misspoke. There was no issue. He didn't mean what he said. He was just, it was all tongue in cheek. And then the first time you see Deion, you want to just roast the guy.
It's a little thing, the media builds up people, then tears them down at will. Well, that's not what this was. That's not what this was.
No.
Deion attacked the media. This was his agenda. How else can you say that he had something else planned? He went after everybody. He went after. He refused to talk to CBS. He refused to engage in a conversation about his offensive line.
Make it adversarial rather than just answering the questions.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. Legend as a player, loser as a coach. How's he been a loser? Is there? Don't conflate the two. Deion Sanders has won everywhere he's coached, including Colorado. Last year was an unquestioned success. Without a doubt. Unquestioned success. And when they go to a bowl game this year, and I think they will, you're going to see that he's not a bad football coach.
No.
He's a really good football coach.
Huge personality, though.
But I think he's learning that the spotlight's not always good. And I think sometimes Colorado needs Deion Sanders to just be invisible for 6 weeks. Go on vacation, man. Like, go take some time off. Because now the spotlight's only going to get brighter. That's it. Mike Gundy defended his backup QB when they went after him. Well, isn't Deion Sanders defending his team? Like, I don't see any difference between the two. And clearly, if you've watched his show, I am not a Mike Gundy fan. I think Mike's one of the great frauds of college football. And I think Deion has to prove he's not one of the great frauds of college football.
Yeah.
Because if you want to say that Deion hasn't won to the level of his persona, okay, absolutely right. But to say that he is not a winner as a coach, that's not correct. That's not correct, in my opinion. Severe, Colorado throwing darts on and off the field. Ain't that the truth? I think it's really interesting, in my opinion, that he's put himself, and Shador particularly, but both of his kids at Colorado have said too much. Like, it is this us versus the world mentality. I understand why a lot of competitive people like to live in that world. I truly do. It puts you on an edge. But I think guys like Shiloh and Shador have to learn to, you got to rein that in.
Time and place, bro. Stop
talking, start playing. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So, anyway, Coconut Dreams, fair enough. But the bottom line is Colorado was 4-8 in 2023.
Right, which is a huge improvement off of their embarrassing, 5-year run or however long it had been.
5 years.
10 years.
When's the last time Colorado was relevant? And he won games.
That I would add, he wasn't supposed to win according to most people.
We'll see. James, you just nailed it. Deion has not won to the level of his persona. That's why you're the man. Monty Nation, hit the like button.
Yeah, but you still have to explain this double standard for Mike and Deion. Going to Slurp Town on my boy here isn't going to fix the double standard that's at play here.
Going to Slurp
Town. Yeah, I'm serious. When the Mike Gundy thing happened, you defended him and said, "Hey, he was just joking around. It's no big deal. No big deal." Even though people die every day from DUI, no big deal. But then when Deion goes after the media about something unrelated to people dying, unrelated to anybody getting injured, just being a complete red ass in his press availability, you want his athletic director to discipline him? Come on, dude.
I don't know. I just think it's one of those things where Deion Sanders, he's all right. You either love Prime or you hate Prime. There's nothing in the middle.
Agreed. And he does that to himself.
And in these moments, you hate Prime. You hate him. And the problem for people who hate Deion Sanders is, in college football, a lot of days, your talent on the field wins you games. He's got an awful lot of talent. He's got one of the best quarterbacks in the conference already. And he's got an offensive line and offensive weapons now to match the quarterback. If Shador plays, if he plays every snap offensively, they're going to win 7-8 games because he's good enough to do that. And when you have guys like Travis Hunter and you have those, I think they're exceptionally well coached. His assistant coaches are, I'm telling you.
They're going to be better this year than they were last year. I don't have any doubt about
Yes.
that. Now I agree with, a couple of the folks who are like, hey, they were 4-8. Like, yeah, you need to improve on that. And yeah, I would agree. The bowl game is the minimum bar here. Like bowl game, or you had a crap season. But I think their top end is 8. I think they could surprise some people. Now, is that likely to happen? No, I wouldn't say it's likely to happen. No, I don't think it's likely to happen, but I think it's possible. And I think the one thing we all know about college football is gnarly things, crazy things happen on a weekly basis. So you're looking at their schedule and you're like, yeah, it's possible, but it's probably not going to happen.
North Dakota State, at Nebraska, at Colorado State. There's a chance they're 1-3. Because they've got
3-0.
They could be 3-0, but because the Baylor game now, and again,
8 ball
and Baylor, he starts a North Dakota State, at Nebraska, at Colorado State. If they protect Shedeur, they're better than Colorado State. Baylor, at UCF, K-State, at Arizona, Cincinnati, at Texas Tech, Utah, at Kansas, Oklahoma State.
So I think their season will be decided by the middle.
The Cincinnati game.
No, I think UCF, K-State, and Arizona, if you can just win one of those games.
If you are not bowl eligible by Halloween, you're not going to a bowl game. I think it's as simply, you're at Texas Tech. Again, I'm trusting you, Joey.
Yeah.
At Texas Tech, Utah, at Kansas, Oklahoma State. Good luck. Now, Oklahoma State is that team that generally is going to lose games they should win.
Is Oklahoma State contending for the conference at that point? Are they out of it?
And I happen to think that Kansas is conference championship good.
Yeah.
They've got K-State and Kansas and Utah and Oak State.
Yeah.
And I would remind you that at least those 3 of those 4 games, K-State, Utah, and Oak State are at home.
Yeah.
In Boulder, which is a huge home field advantage. So
I'm just saying, I agree with what you're saying. I think bowl game or bust this year, certainly. You got to have 6 wins, 100%.
Yes.
But I do think, and again, all the haters, we can disagree. But I'm telling you, if you're sitting here saying that this is going to be like a 3-win team, I promise you they are not a 3-win team. I promise you this team is at least 5 wins good this year. And my suspicion is they will rise to 7. Yeah, 7 feels like
North Dakota State, at Colorado State. I think they're going to go to Lincoln and get run off. I think that Matt Rule is looking for, dude, he wants to collect testicles this year. I think he's out for people's nuts.
But
dude.
again,
I'm
we got to be fair though. We have to be fair because I'm not here for double standards when it comes to Deion. Matt Rule needs to show us he can win on the football field in that program. I have no doubt that Matt Rule is a great head coach. He's shown us that he's got that ability, and he's building 100%. But if we're going to say Deion's got to show us, then we certainly have to say Matt Rule has to show us.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. Just looking at their you did lose Trev Alberts. But he did, Glenn Thomas is a nice get for Matt Rule. Just looking at I don't know. I think it's gonna be Lincoln's gonna be a tough place to play this year.
I would agree with that.
I think it's gonna be a tough place to play.
And I would expect them to be able to run the football.
Just real quick on Colorado. Yeah. North Dakota State 1. I think Colorado State 2, Baylor 3. Do they go to the bounce house and win?
No. They'll lose that game.
K-State at Boulder.
Well,
that's a loss. At Arizona's a win. Cincinnati's a win for 5.
See, I don't think the Arizona game's a gimme. That's the problem.
His defense is, I think Colorado's defense is going to be very good.
Okay, so if you give him Arizona,
North Dakota State, Colorado State, Baylor, Arizona, Cincinnati.
so you got to have the Nebraska game. That's what I'm saying. You have to beat Nebraska, and then you have to win one of the three of
K-State, Utah, or Oak State.
Yeah, you got to win one of those three. And obviously,
You're not going to Kansas City and beating Kansas.
Yeah.
I can't.
And you're not
believe
beating
that.
Utah. And I don't think you're beating Oklahoma State.
Now, Colorado-Utah is historically a rivalry game, and I think this year it's a massive game.
Yeah, the problem is I think that Utah is top 5 in the country good, and they're being hated on right now. That's how good I think Utah is going to be this year. Like, I think you're talking about a Utah team that knows it's the last ride, knows that they got to get it done, and, you know, they're just going to be difficult.
I think it is.
But like I said,
I think 6 is likely, 7's possible, 8 is not possible. Wins for Colorado. What do I think's going to happen? I think they win 6 games and go to a bowl. Because last year the offensive line and the defensive line crushed them, and they're both exponentially better. They've got 7 offensive linemen, and he's if depending on you believe the hype, scopes, previews. You look at the talent level on the defensive line, he's probably gotten 7, 8. He's probably got 8 defensive linemen. And their secondary is 6 is likely, 7's possible, 8's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless
you get lucky with the other team having injuries.
Kansas, if he goes to the bounce house and somehow wins, if my mom was my father, she'd be a man, but she's not. I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show, as always, presented by our friends at Prize Picks, prizepicks.com. The best daily fantasy in the business. You guys use the promo code Monty. We happen to be very fortunate that they put us in that special group of promo codes. They're doing a deal now where you deposit $5 in a new account at Prize Picks, they'll give you $50. You can play with $55 at Prize Picks for months. Months and months and months. I'm on a heater right now, back to my winning ways, thanks to LeBron James and Stephen Curry. If you're working the Olympics, and I understand, listen, I know that diving is not a mainstream sport, but do you really not just call him Steph Curry? The guy's like Stephen Curry.
Steph Wardell Curry, man.
Stephen Curry? First of all, it's Stephen Curry. And really, it's Steph Curry. And really, it's Chef Curry. Man, did you guys see Michael Gundy?
Michael.
And the Oklahoma State Cowboys? Like, what are you...
How do you mess that up,
The
dude?
diving guy said Stephen Curry. Anyway, thanks to Steph and La Captain America. Why
do you guys keep messing up his name, dude? Come on.
I won some bread over the weekend on Prize Picks. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was Noah Lyles. Screw you. You ruined my Prize Picks legacy. Because I would have won 4 straight 3-for-3s. I'd have won if Noah Lyles hadn't run like 37 seconds in the 200 meters.
So I said, yeah.
I have COVID. Who doesn't?
Yeah, come on.